Can you still hear me okay, Loretta? Is that better?
No, I can barely hear you. And I was just listening to a audiobook on through a Wi-Fi speaker, and it was fine. And now I can barely hear you. So I disconnected the speaker and it's.
Loretta, do you want to try and leave and then come back in and see if that works?
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me okay now, Loretta? Is that better?
No, it's not. So I think we're just going to have to.
I'll speak loudly.
Okay. And I can watch you too. I'm going to try one more thing.
Okay. Hey, Deke, how's it going?
Oh, not bad. Sorry, I was having more problems logging in again for some reason. So,
well, I'm glad you got in, dude.
I got it. So, heck yeah.
You got it, and you're here.
Heck yeah.
All right. We're going to start in just 1 minute. If you want to find your space, tonight we're going to be, our class tonight, we're going to be doing 15 Sun Salutations. So we're building up that strength and support and the endurance to be able to move towards the 108. So we're going to start small, see how we're doing. We're going to check in with ourselves. I'm also going to be kind of interweaving some practices for you all to practice for the next class that we have, which will be 30 Sun Salutations. So in that one, we're going to learn how to keep track, because when we start moving, having experience doing this, you start to lose track. So I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to keep track. You won't have to worry about that today, but for the future, for next class, I'll ask you to bring a couple items with you, but I'll talk more about that at the end of class today. So tonight's class, again, is at 15 Sun Salutations. I'll be building the class around those. And then you will need 2 blocks, a blanket, your mat, and if you would need a chair, I'd grab a chair as well, and any other gear that you may need to support yourself. And I will meet you on the mat, and we'll get started in about 30 seconds. And if you would like water, something that I was taught for teaching this is having some water nearby, because we're going to be building up a lot of heat. And when you're resting, sometimes just grabbing a sip of water if you need one. I always carry around a big jug of water I call it my adult sippy cup. Just something nearby that I can just take a swig of water, just in case I need something. All right. So we're going to start in a seated position. Your seated position can either be on a pillow, on a blanket to support the hips. It can be on a chair. It can be on a bolster. If for any reason your knees kind of come up nice and high, you can always place some blocks underneath the knees to take some of that pressure off of the hips and the knees. If not, you can always just have those off to the side. Wow, week 3. It's hard to believe it's flying by, guys. So coming into your nice seated position, maybe closing the eyes, you would like, or maybe just having a nice soft gaze in front of you. Just bringing your awareness to the space as we get started on Monday's class today. The hands can be on the thighs, palms can be facing down, or palms can be facing up, whatever's comfortable for you. We'll begin by noticing our surroundings of the space that we're occupying right now. Bringing awareness to any sounds that you may hear throughout your practice. Acknowledging those sounds and just being aware of them. Not putting any names to them, just acknowledging that they're there. At some point, I'm sure you'll hear my dog come in. He'll get really excited. He loves to see me on the floor, on my mat. He may bark. You may hear my partner walk to the room. Just taking a moment to take in those sounds as you settle in to tonight's practice. And as Alexandra once said to me, it's called a practice because it's not perfect. Bring our awareness now back to our breath. Begin to notice the natural rise and fall of your inhales and exhales. Notice the breath as it travels up through the nose, down the back of the throat, into the lungs. And as you exhale, maybe notice the breath as it travels out of the lungs, back up through the throat, and out the nose. Sometimes I like to imagine there's a little orb, a glowing light traveling as I inhale. And I'm following that globe of light as it travels down my nose, down my throat, then into my lungs. And when it reaches my lungs, I like to imagine that it's glowing nice and bright. Like it's warming up my chest. The breath is warming up our lungs. And as I exhale, noticing that orb as it travels back up through my throat and back out of my nose. We'll do 3 breaths at your own pace, and I'll leave you in silence as you complete those 3 breaths. If your mind began to wander, gently bring it back to the present moment and know that it's okay if the mind wanders. next breath series that we are going to do tonight is a 3-part breath. And that 3-part breath starts with the belly, just below the ribs, and then the chest. And I'll guide us through that. So all together, we're going to exhale out all of our breath, squeezing our abdominal. And as we inhale, we're going to expand the belly, expand the breath into the chest, or below the ribs, excuse me, and then into the chest. And then slowly exhaling it back out through the chest, the ribs, and the stomach. One more time. Inhale. Belly rises. Ribs and chest. Exhale. Chest, ribs, and belly. Go at your own pace here for 3 more breaths. As you inhale through the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. I'm going to be silent for the next 2 breaths as you go at your own pace. Meeting at the end of the next exhale, we're going to inhale all together. So inhaling that nice deep belly breath, and then letting it go with a sigh out through the mouth. One more time. Inhale all the way through the belly. Exhale, sigh it out. Let it all go. Let go of all those problems, those worries that you have for today. And we're going to meet in a standing position, getting there, whatever that looks like for you tonight. So we'll meet in standing or in that mountain pose. With our palms facing forward, our feet underneath the hips. Maybe the eyes are still closed, if that's in your practice, or having a soft gaze at something in front of you. Just taking a moment here, feeling the support of the ground underneath the feet. And tonight's theme is our breath, body, and mind, and how they're all connected to one another, especially in our practice tonight. So let's start with our wrists. We're going to warm our wrists up because we're going to be using our wrists a lot tonight. So having the palms facing away from the body, when the fingers pointing up towards the sky, we're just going to slowly rotate the wrist in an outward motion. Just rotating the wrist, trying to keep the arms as straight as possible, and just rotating the wrist, trying to concentrate all of that stretching and that rotation on the wrist. And then rotating back the other way. So maybe your thumbs are coming towards one another. I guess the thumb goes towards one another in both directions, right? And then pausing, grabbing the left fingertips with your right hand and just gently pulling the fingertips back towards the body. So the fingertips are still up towards the sky. Your left palm is still facing out away from you. Now the fingertips are going to point down, so that those left fingertips are pointing down to the ground. Palms should be facing towards you now as you gently pull the fingertips towards the body. Notice how I said the word gently, because as oftentimes we find veterans, when if you're not told gently, you're going to try and crank as hard as you can on something. And that's not what we're trying to do. All right, we're going to go ahead and switch sides. So moving over to that right wrist now. So the right palm should be facing away from you, fingertips up towards the sky. We're going to gently take our left finger or left hand and gently pull on those right fingertips. Reminding yourself to breathe. Don't forget your breath here. We're going to let those fingertips drop down towards the ground. So the right fingertips are now pointing towards the ground. Right palm is facing you, and just gently pulling the fingertips towards the body. Finding your breath again. And letting it go. Maybe shake the arms out. Maybe just do whatever you need to do with your arms. Maybe they're flapping like little chicken wings and they're coming across the body. Just let your arms do whatever they want to do tonight. I'm just going to warm up the arms here because we're going to be using them a lot tonight. Finding stillness so the arms can come down to our sides. We're going to raise our right hand up towards the sky. Taking our left hand, we're going to grab the right wrist, pull it up towards the sky, and then gently lean over to the left here. Getting a nice side body stretch on the right side. Taking a nice big inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, maybe go a little deeper, but not forcing anything. Inhale, coming back to center. We're going to switch sides. So now the left fingertips face up towards the sky. We're going to grab our left wrist with our right hand. And then gently leaning over to the right as we stretch out that side body on the left side. Taking a breath, and on the exhale, seeing if you can go just a little bit deeper. We're not trying to force anything here. Just opening up the side body. And come back to center. We're going to move into standing cat-cow. So I'm going to turn sideways so you all can see me. So having a slight bend in the knees here, so the knees can just come behind the toes. We're going to place our hands on our thighs as we expand the chest out on the exhale. Oh, I'm sorry, inhale. Exhale, we're going to pull the shoulders forward, curling the backside, pulling our belly in towards the body. Inhale, poke the chest out, curl the back, gently squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, rounding out the back, pulling the shoulder blades forward, pulling the belly in. And if it's too much to have the knees bent, you can always stand up straight. Do your cat-cows that way. And I invite you to just do a couple rounds on your own here. So inhaling, poking that chest out, gently squeezing the shoulder blades together, and exhaling, rounding the back out, pulling the belly in, pressing the shoulder blades away from one another. All right, we're going to come to the top of our mat here. So coming back to standing, I'm going to go ahead and move to the top of my mat. You still see me here. We're going to move into some half sun salutations. So we're going to inhale through the nose, arms come up overhead. Exhale, we're going to swan dive forward, bending at the waist, forward fold. Having a slight bend in the knees here. We're going to hang out here for a minute. Maybe let the arms hang and rock from side to side. Nice gentle bend in the knees here as we're warming up the hamstrings. Coming back to center. So when I say come back to center, that's just coming back to that standing still. So if you were moving from side to side, just going to come back to stillness. So inhale, we're going to halfway lift. So when I say halfway lift, we're just going to come to almost like a flat back. So our back's nice and flat. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, flat back. And on your next exhale, plant the hands down to the ground. And you're going to place that right foot behind you, dropping the knee down to the ground, keeping a nice bend in the left knee. So the right knee is down on the mat. We're in our low lunge. So on the inhale, we're coming up, chest rise. A low lunge or a runner's lunge. Here, our knee aligned with our ankle. Hips are forward. If you need some extra support, you can grab those blocks. Have those blocks out beside you. Maybe placing the fingertips of the hands on them, just for some stability. On your next exhale, you're going to plant the hands back down to the mat. You're going to lift that right knee off the ground. Step that right knee back to meet the left. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands back down. Lift the left foot off the mat, placing that left foot behind you, dropping the left knee down to the ground, keeping that right foot in place. Knee aligned, the right knee aligned over the right ankle. Inhale, lift the chest. Hips forward. And here, almost like we're trying to pull our thighs together. So pulling like I like to think of a pair of scissors, like we're closing a pair of scissors. On the next exhale, placing the hands back down to the mat, lifting the left knee off the mat, and placing that left foot back to the right in that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet as you slowly rise back to standing. Arm come up overhead. Reach towards the sky like you're holding a football in between your hands. Exhale, letting the arms come back down to the side. Taking a moment here, finding your breath again. We're going to do one more round of those. So inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back. Exhale, lift the hands down to the mat. Step your right foot back. Dropping that right knee down to the ground. Left knee is aligned over the left ankle. Inhale, rise the chest up. Pulling the thighs together like a pair of scissors here. Hips aligned forward. Arms can be either overhead or at our hips or on our blocks. Exhale, placing just the right hand down to the mat. We're going to open our chest up over the left here. So lifting the left arm up towards the sky, pulling our left thigh in towards our right arm. Gentle twist. If this is too much on the shoulder, you don't have to open up all the way. You can always place a hand on the hip and just open up the shoulder here. Exhale, placing that left hand back down to the mat, lifting the right knee off the ground, and placing that right back to the left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, planting the hands back down to the mat, lifting the left foot off the mat, placing it behind you, dropping the left knee down to the mat, right knee aligned over the right ankle. Inhale, lift the chest. Grabbing those blocks if you need them, pulling our thighs together, squaring the hips to the front of our mat. Placing the left hand down to the mat on the inside of that right foot. Exhale, we're going to open up to the right now. Again, if this is too much on the shoulder as you lift the right arm up towards the sky and twist, you can always place that right arm on the right hip. And notice if your right knee is falling out, try and pull that knee in towards your chest a little bit. Exhale, placing that right hand back down to the outside of the right foot. Lift the left knee. Place that left foot back to meet the right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, pressing through the feet as you rise up. Arms come up overhead. Almost like you're grasping a football in between the hands. Reaching tall. Exhale. Arms come back down to the side. All right. So we're going to begin to move into our 15 sun salutations of the night. So 15 sounds like a lot, but I promise you it's going to go by fast. I'm going to teach this, and as we move forward through the whole series, I will keep count this first week, but the following weeks, I'm going to invite you all to learn how to keep count, and I'll kind of go through how I do it and what works for me, and then I'll give some options at the end of class as well. So we're going to do 3 rounds of 5, so that way we can take some breaks, see how we're feeling, check in with ourselves, and then we'll go from there. All right, so coming to the top of our mat here, palms down, or hands down by our sides, palms facing forward, chest is nice and puffed out, shoulders are down away from our ears, nice and relaxed. Very slight bend in the knees here. As we all know in the military, if you lock those knees out, you might pass out. We don't want to do that. All right, so here we go. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, we're folding forward. We're bending at the waist. Slight bend in the knees if you need it. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back. Lower yourself down to the mat. Untuck the toes. Lift the chest on the inhale, pressing through the feet, through the hands. Curl the toes underneath the feet, pressing through the hands. The exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Checking in with the hands in our first downward dog. Pressing into the thumbs, the index finger, all the fingers, not just the outside of the palms. Lifting up through the hips, pressing down through the hamstrings. On the next exhale, step, hop, or walk your feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet to rise, arms come up overhead. Exhale, arms come down to our side. All right, I'm going to do one more round of walking you through it with some cues. And then after that, I'm going to be cueing the breath, and then we'll go from there. All right. So pressing through the feet, lift the arms up overhead on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands down to the mat. Step, hop, or walk the feet back and lower the chest down to the ground. You can drop the knees if you need to first and lower the chest. Inhale, baby cobra. Slight in the back. Exhale, curl the toes, press through the hands, lift the hips. Down. On the next exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet to rise, arms come up overhead. Exhale, arms come down to our side. All right. So I'm going to cue just a few things, but I'm mainly going to be focusing on the breath here. So whatever works in your body, and at any point you begin to feel dizzy, any kind of sickness starts to overcome you, or you start feeling weird, please stop, take a break, sit down in a chair, go into child's pose, do what you need to do to take care of yourself, and grab water. All right. So press our feet again. So inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step, hop back. Lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, curl the toes. Downward facing dog. Your next exhale, step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet, rise, arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands come to our side. All right, we're going to keep moving. I'm just going to cue the breath. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands. Lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Next exhale, step, hop, or walk, feet behind the hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come over your head. Exhale, arms come down to our side. All right, last one of this round. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Lower the body down to the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and drop the knees down to the mat. Knees can come out wide, toes come together as you press your hips back into child's pose. Take 5 breaths here. And as I said, the theme of the class was the breath, body, and mind. I invite you just to notice any feelings or sensations you feel after the first 5 rounds that we did. It's amazing how we often forget how connected our breath is to our body as we move through everyday life, especially through stressors. All right, we're going to move back into the tabletop. So child's pose, press it against the hands, sliding the knees back into the hips. We're going to walk our hands out just a little bit in front of us. Curl the toes underneath the feet. Press through the hands, lift the hips up towards the sky, pressing down through the feet, through the hamstrings, down facing dog. On your next exhale, step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet, rise up, arms come up overhead. Exhale, arms come down to our side. All right, that was round one. That's 5. So we're gonna move on to the next rounds. So again, I'm still gonna cue you just to make sure I'm accommodating everyone that is in our Sun Salutation series. So I'm still gonna cue the breath. I'm still gonna cue the poses. So if you would like, again, go at your own pace, whatever works for you, and I will meet you back in standing. So inhale, arms rise overhead. Exhale, bending at the waist, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, or walk the feet back. Knees can come down first, chest, chin. Inhale, baby cobra, lifting the chest. Exhale, curl the toes, press through the hands, downward facing dog. Your next exhale, step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press to the feet, arms come up overhead. This time, hands come together as you drop the hands down through the center of your chest. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, or walk the feet back. Lower the body down towards the mat. Inhale, chest lifts, baby cobra. Exhale, curl the toes. Hips rise, downward facing dog. Next exhale, step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press to the feet. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, palms come together as they travel down the middle of the body. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step up or walk back. Lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Next exhale, step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press to the feet, rise, hands come up overhead. Exhale, palms come together as they travel down the center line of the body. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, or walk the feet back. Lower down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, lift the chest. Exhale, curl the toes. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Next exhale, Step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet. Arms come up overhead, palms come together. Exhale, lower the hands to the center line of the body. All right, last one. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, or walk the feet back, lower the chest down to the mat, however you need to get there. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, press through the hands, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Go ahead and drop those knees down to the mat. We're going to stay in the tabletop position. If you would like to go ahead in a child's pose, you can go ahead and do that. So widen the knees out, toes come together as you let the hips drop towards the feet and you're pressing through the hands. If you don't want to go into tabletop and you want to do something else, I invite you to identify that right hand, pressing through the left now. We're going to just lift that right hand off the mat and just slide it underneath that left armpit, dropping that right shoulder down to the mat, walking our left hand out in front of us. If you're in thread the needle, which is what I just asked us all to do, you can go ahead and press to that left hand as you bring that right hand back underneath the right shoulder. Taking a breath, putting a little bit of weight into that right hand now. We're going to slide that that left arm underneath the right armpit, dropping the left shoulder down to the mat. And then here, you can either keep the hand in place or walk the hand to the top of the mat. Maybe dropping the head. If you're still in child's pose, that's all right. We're going to meet back in tabletop in just a second. If you're in thread the needle, go ahead and take that right hand, press through the right hand as you slowly lift back up out of that pose, placing the back underneath the left shoulder, knees underneath the hips as you walk the hands just a couple inches out in front of you. Curl the toes, lift the hips as you press through the hands, pressing down through the heels, to the hamstrings, downward facing dog. Head can be nice and loose. On the next exhale, step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet as you rise up. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands come down through center, palms together. All right. Last round, almost there. All right, grounding ourselves through our feet here. Palms can be facing forward at our sides. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back, exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, or walk the feet back. Lower the body down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, lift the chest. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the hips, press through the hand. Downward facing dog. Next exhale, we're going to step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet. Arms come up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale. Lower the hands. All right. Inhale, arms up, overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down to the mat, step, hop, or walk the feet back. Lower the chest down to the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, press to the hands, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Next, exhale, step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press to the feet, arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands come together. Hands at heart center. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, or walk the feet back. Lower the chest down to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, baby cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, press the hands, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Next, exhale, step, hop, or walk the hands behind, or the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press to the feet, rise, arms come overhead. Exhale, hands come together, down to the midline, heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step prop back, lower down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the hips, press to the hands, downward facing dog. Next, exhale, step, hop, or walk the hands behind the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press to the feet, rise to stand. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands come together, down through heart center. Last one, that's it. Last sun salutation of the night. So inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, or walk back. Lower the chest down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, press through the hands, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Next, exhale, step, hop, or walk the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet as you rise, arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands come together as they travel down through the midline, hands at heart center. Take a moment. Notice any sensations you may feel throughout the body. Go ahead and meet me in a child's pose. I'm not going to make you go through any more sun salutations tonight. So just go ahead and come down to the hands and knees here. Knees can come out nice and wide to the edge of the mat. Toes can come together as you drop the hips back, pressing through the hands. We'll be here for 10 breaths. what I love most about the Sun Salutations, and we'll talk more about this as we go on, is the connection of the breath, the body, and the mind. And it's a gentle reminder that our mind and our body oftentimes like to fight against each other. And the beautiful thing about Sun Salutations is they connect those together, and they connect the breath together. And oftentimes in these hectic and busy days that we have, we forget sometimes to just take a second, take a breath, take a step back, remind ourselves that we're just human. We're doing our fucking best in this world, and that's all right. Coming out of that child's pose now, so pressing into the thighs as you lift, coming onto all fours. Maybe doing a little tail wag here. And then placing that right foot over the left, and then sitting back, coming onto our butt now. So now you're in a seated position. Slide our feet forward. We're just going to lay down on our backs. So coming onto our backs now. Taking a moment, maybe placing the feet flat on the mat with the knees bent here. Extending that right foot out flat against the mat, keeping that left knee bent. We're going to hug our left knee in towards our chest. On the exhale, we're going to drop that left knee over to the right, keeping our left arm extended out to the left at a T. Or maybe it comes to the hip, whatever's comfortable for you. But really aiming to keep that left shoulder blade against the mat. If it's too much sensation to have that left knee hovering above the ground, you can always put a block underneath the left knee, just for a little bit of extra support. And your next inhale, again, to bring that left knee back to center, hugging it in towards the chest. On the exhale, placing that left foot down to the ground, drawing in that right knee towards the chest this time, hugging it nice and tight in towards the chest. On the exhale, letting that right knee drop out towards the left as you leave your right arm extended long, your right shoulder blade is still touching the mat. You need that block for some support underneath the knee. Place that there. Still breathing nice and deep. Those 3-part breaths through the belly, if you can. If you're having trouble breathing, you may have gone a little too far. And just slowly back out of it a little bit. Your next exhale, bringing that right knee back towards the center, plugging it in towards the chest one last time. As you exhale, place that right leg down to the mat. Coming into our final resting pose here, Shavasana, or resting pose. Taking up as much space as you need. I'm going to come to a seated position while you all rest in your Shavasana or your resting pose. As you're resting, I will be guiding us through a short body scan of the body. And as you're resting, just listening to the areas of the body that I'm describing. Beginning to relax the top of the head, feeling the support of the mat underneath the head, letting go of any tension, relaxing the forehead, relaxing the skin around the eyes, relaxing the cheekbones, relaxing the jaw and the tongue, relaxing the throat, relaxing the chest, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms, relaxing the hands, relaxing the belly, relaxing the hips and the butt, relaxing the thighs, relaxing the knees, relaxing the calves and the shins, relaxing the ankles, and lastly, relaxing the bottoms of the feet. I'll leave you with 3 minutes of silence as you feel the full effects of this evening's practice. After the 3 minutes, I'll bring you back and we'll close our practice. begin to bring some awareness back to your body and to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe rolling the ankles and the wrists. Gently at your own pace, rolling to one side of the body and stacking the knees on top of one another and using your arm underneath your head for support. And slowly, at your own pace, coming back to a seated position. Again, there's no rush. Keeping the eyes closed if you would like. We'll bring our hands together, palms touching the center of our chest if you would like. If not, you can always keep your hands at your thighs. Taking a moment of gratitude for yourself. For showing up tonight, taking this hour to take care of yourself. Reminding yourself that you are human and everything's going to be all right. We'll do one final yoga pose. So taking the corner of our mouth on both corners and lifting them up towards the eyebrows. We'll close with a bow, bowing to one another, showing respect for one another as we showed up tonight. Thank you all for joining me tonight. This was week 3's Monday class. 15 Sun Salutations. You all did it. I'm super proud of you. It's not easy. From here, again, it's going to get tougher. It's going to get more tough. That's all right. Keep sticking to it. I believe in you all. Tonight's journal prompt, if you would like it, is one thing that yoga has done for me. It can be one thing or it can be multiple, but something that yoga has done for you in your life. Whether that makes you emotion, maybe it's something physical, something mental. Let it all, just write it out. Let it all go. We will have a class on Thursday. So that'll be another restorative class. It will kind of counteract all of the poses that we did today. So it's really a recovery class. That's at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. That is all I have. If there's any questions for me, feel free to stay after class or shoot me an email. My email is cmyarborough18@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns you would like to talk to me about.